Hi, this is Heather Picken, host of the Fearless and Fabulous Female Masterclass. You're going to learn in 90 days or less how to take your business to the next level. You want to go to the next level, you've got to align your mind to your vision and you got to take action. So I want you to take notes, and I also want you to consider to upgrade to the Fearless and Fabulous bundle. What that is experts paid products given to you for only $97. This is important because it's supporting a cause called She Should Run. And that is about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. I want you to be a fearless woman. Stand in your power and know what you stand for. I hope you enjoy this masterclass. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another masterclass of the Fearless and Fabulous Female Entrepreneur Summit. We have our next guest. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to dive right into it because we're going to be talking about how to get your heartfelt writing from neutral to bestseller in 30 days. And this summit is all about what you can do in 90 days or less. So you really want to take the tips that my expert is giving you and write it down and start taking action. So let me introduce my next guest. Her name is Charolette Howard, and she is an award-winning transformational lifestyle coach, #1 international best-selling author of the Success in Beauty book series. Also Hairstylist Riches book series and How to Easily Publish and Profit. She is a book publishing expert who personally published over, and wait for it, 40 best-selling books in 13 different languages. That's really impressive. She has been called by the Information Marketing Journal an information marketing genius and featured in over 100 media outlets, including ABC, NBC, and Fox. In her free time, she travels and explores beautiful vacation destinations with her family. She also loves teaching, reading, writing, taking brisk walks on the beach, listening to music, dancing, and watching movies. That sounds awesome. Charolette, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much, Heather, for having me.
Yeah, and I want to say, what an impressive bio, because, a lot of times people want to write a book, but they feel stuck and they just don't know how to get, their writing to flow. And so we're going to be talking about, how you can really come from your heart, right? And write a bestseller in 30 days. I like, let's just actually, before we dive into this masterclass today, why do you think it's important to have a book?
Because a book is going to open up so many doors for you. You're going to also gain respect from your family, from your colleagues, from just pretty much everyone that you can think of, because they're going to see you differently.
I love that. And it's interesting because reading your bio, you have different niches that you've been published in. So I think that's pretty interesting, having your beauty and your hairstyling, and then of course, teaching people how to publish their books. So I'm just kind of curious, like, what really inspired you to focus, well, actually to write? That would actually be my first question.
Awesome. I get that all the time, Heather. I actually was working in corporate America, running multiple beauty salons, and got diagnosed after being burnt out, working 80 hours plus a week, and got diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. And so when I went to the doctor, he told me, Charolette, you have to find a new profession. And so, like many people, it's like, even being a single mom, was wondering, what could I do to really supplement my income, because I'm going to now have to step away from being behind the chair. And, with that being said, who wants to work 80 plus hours even a week, just to make ends meet, just to provide for your family. And so once that happened to me, I had to then go in and, of course, train the person that was going to take my position over. And because I was able to help these multiple salons, corporate salons, go to 6 figures, I took the knowledge and the skills of what I learned, and I actually packaged it up within my first book. And so that was Hairstylist Riches. It was actually the very first book that I created. And that was the main reason for starting, because I was looking for a way to create and supplement income for my family, because I knew I had to find something that that was going to supplement the income that I was already making in the beauty industry. And so I found a coach online. She was in a different niche, to be exact, and not even in the beauty industry. And I learned from her how to take my passion and actually turn it into profit. And that's when I started with the consulting with a lot of the beauty industry professionals, and just started diving into other niches, because I started attracting other women who were in other niches, and other guys as well in other niches that wanted my help as well. And that's where it all started.
I love that. And, this whole summit is about being fearless and really pursuing something that you love. And a lot of times, we don't always know what we want to do, but it kind of gets presented in a way where, like you were saying, you were sick, you had to kind of shift gears there. And now you're doing something that you are absolutely aligned with. So I just wanted to highlight that, because I think it's really important to kind of listen, to your own calling and what is really, what are those inner nudges. So I think that's really interesting. So let's talk about, okay, writing our book, or I should say choosing the right book, the right type of book for our business. So could you give some examples of what that is, or how we can really start the process in doing that?
Absolutely. Well, when I first got started, as I mentioned, in the industry, I was all about helping more hairstylists and beauty professionals expand their income, because they're working behind the chair, working so much. So my goal, and that's the first thing I always ask people: what is your goal? Is it to make more money? Which I always absolutely say that shouldn't be your only goal. Your goal should be how many lives you can inspire and change. At the same time, the money will always follow. In my situation, I was looking for a way to really supplement my income, but doing what I love to do, because I think it's important to really understand that you got to be passionate about what you're doing to really love it. I see so many people on their 9 to 5, and they're just not happy with what they're doing. And so if you can find a 9 to 5 that you're absolutely excited about, something that you absolutely love doing, absolutely do that. But to answer your question, start with a goal, whether that's a goal of writing your signature book, like you have, Heather, around, just really expanding more credibility within your industry, creating more visibility, creating more community, gaining more respect as well. So you just first have to know what it is that your goal is. And once you eliminate that first step of knowing what your goal is, then you can choose from the 7 books, which is like the Hairstylist Riches book was a how-to about how to, turn your passion into profit, and really impact people on a bigger scale, not just about the profit. Because a lot of people, they want to make money, but they don't realize what it is that the money will actually help you do at the same time as well.
I love that. So what you were mentioning, like you got to get really clear on what the goal is, and there's different types of books that you can write. So you kind of have to find the style. And of what you want to really write and what resonates. And I like the fact that you mentioned, to really inspire, people. You don't just focus on the money, focus on how you can change people's lives. And I think that is so critical, because if you look at someone like an Oprah Winfrey, she has this beautiful, or always has had this beautiful vision of empowering millions of people on this planet, and she's getting rewarded because of her, her talents and what she's most aligned with. So I think that's really important. It's like, you don't just create a product or a book just to make money. Yes, that's great. Yes, you have to, create a living and a lifestyle, but there's something more to that. Let's talk about the easiest books to write in 30 days to become a bestseller. I'm really interested in hearing about that.
Okay, so the first book is a signature book. Like, you have already created a signature book, Heather, around the a signature method or strategy that you're teaching. And I have, and I know many of you that are tuning in, you have something that you can teach that's a signature method that you'd like to share. So that would be your signature book. You're not going to change the strategy or anything or method. This would be your signature book that you are building around your brand. And so that's the first type of book that is like the easiest to write. It's funny that you mentioned Oprah, because and inspiring, and she's like, I think, everybody's true inspiration for what we do. And so creating an inspirational book, whether that's you interviewing a bunch of different people in your industry, and them sharing their story for why they actually got into the industry, what really drew them into to actually creating that passion that wants to keep them out of bed and jumping up each and every day to go even whether it's behind the chair or being an entrepreneur. If you can create a book around getting, like, say, 5 to 10 or even more people just sharing a chapter. I do a lot of anthologies like this where I'll touch in different industries, because I want to keep inspiring, and people love to hear stories. And at the same time, you're inspiring someone that may have went through a different struggle, and you're inspiring them and helping them get through that struggle that they are kind of on the fence about moving forward, because they are, again, they are in fear about what maybe someone maybe telling them they can't achieve something. Maybe someone is telling them that they need to feel a certain way after a traumatic experience. But because they've read your story, you are automatically inspiring them, because they're going to probably 9 times out of 10 say, hey, well, if she could do it, or if he could do it, I can do it as well. So inspirational story is another one. A how-to book, like how to write your book in 30 days. That's another example. I know everyone has something that they can share, a strategic step-by-step process, or a strategic step-by-step system or formula that they can share in a how-to format. And maybe that's something that you are writing about, that may be like a goal book, that's like a first steps type of book for people that you are looking to attract. Maybe they haven't gotten your coaching program, but they just want a taste of what it is that Heather has to offer. They buy your book, and they get a dose, and they're like, wow, I want more. That's what a goal book could actually do for you. All of these books, once you just, get an idea about what it is that your goal is, that you want to achieve, you definitely want to hone in on whether you want to create an inspirational book, an interview-driven book where you're interviewing different people. Again, with a common goal of what it is that you want them to achieve. You interview people. People are always excited about getting interviews on us, especially something that they are absolutely passionate about. So you can go out and interview 5 to 10 people on any topic, and you don't have to be in that industry. And actually, you can be the go-to resource expert even if you aren't in the industry. So it's important to know, because a lot of people, they think they have to be in a specific industry to write the book. But if you have people that you are interviewing and they are providing value in your book because that's what it is that they are absolutely good at doing, then that's another great way to share. I want to pause there because I know that you might have a question, and I don't want to. I want to make sure that everyone is kind of getting the gist on what I've just said with the different types of books, because I know that it can be overwhelming on which one to choose. And that's why I only tell my clients it's only 7 books that you need to consider writing for it to have bestseller potential.
I love that. And yeah, so there's a lot of different, so you don't necessarily have to be, like you're saying, the expert. You can interview other people. It can be inspirational. And you just, those can be completed very quickly, because the whole thing is about doing it in 30 days. Now, another thing you talk about is why more is not always better. So in the context of that question, how many pages do you really need to write in order to press publish?
Oh, absolutely. That is a great question. I always suggest my clients, depending on what their goals are, industry standard is the 6x9 books. And I would suggest that you publish under 150 pages in your book. Anything more than that needs to be in a whole new book. Because right now we are in the information age where we want things fast. We want to read it fast. We want to watch it fast. And we want results fast. And so if someone can read your book within maybe 1 to 2 hours, it's going to be better for you, because once they read it, then they can go over on Amazon. They can send you testimonials like a whole lot quicker because it didn't take them a whole year to read your book.
I love that. I think it really simplifies the writing process, so you don't have to spend, which some people do, 2 years writing a book, because I think what you're saying is, you can get the information out there and people can find you, right? And then they can work with you, or maybe you have another product that you talk about in the book, right? That's the whole part of having the book is creating visibility and awareness.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned that, so people can find you, because a lot of people, they're holding that knowledge in, they're holding that story in. Maybe it's a survival story. Maybe you went through a traumatic experience. In my first anthology that I created, I actually shared my traumatic experience of me being abused mentally as well as physically. And so maybe you may have a traumatic experience that you could share in a survival guide as well, in an anthology format, where you're different women's, like from all different backgrounds, are sharing different traumatic experiences and how they actually got through as well. So it's just important to know that the longer you're holding the information that you have inside you, that you're doing yourself and others a disservice, because you can be impacting so many more people's lives if you would just go ahead. Don't worry about it being perfect. You're speaking from your heart. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, because they think that their writing has to be perfect. That's why you have writers and editors who go back in and fix it for you. And to be honest, there may be grammatical errors that you might have, because you may not be able to afford an editor. But if you get it out there, some people, they don't even pay attention to that, but it's good if you can get someone to edit it for you. And that way you don't have to worry about it. You can also not even, type out your writing. You can speak your book if you want to speak, for at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's content that you don't even have to type it. You can send it over to someone and let a professional transcribe it. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting it out there. It's all about not staying on the fence, worrying about it being perfect, because we are not perfect people. We are human. We have different things going on each and every day. It's just all about being yourself and speaking from your heart. That's what truly matters.
I love that. Another question might come to mind is, women that are watching this, well, who am I to write this? Do I really have, the time or credibility to do that? If they wanted to write a book, like you're saying, kind of like a signature book.
Absolutely. You don't have to have any previous experience on writing a signature book. All you need to do is just take action and, make it I always tell my clients, do a brain dump of what it is that the topic, you choose that topic that you want to share. And then what do you want to share? What exactly do you want to share in that particular book? Do you want to share how you're a single mom or how you're a married mom, and how do you balance it all? Do you want to share that? What particular items do you want to share about being a married or a single mom? It's just a matter of outlining it, putting it out there, understanding, doing a brain dump, because you can always go back and go more in depth about the topic. But choose the topic that you want to talk about and start making an outline of it. And then you can keep writing, because I'm sure you're going to have more and more stuff that comes to mind, and you're going to be like, oh, I can write another one, because that's what usually happens.
Well, I love it. You're a perfect example of writing a series of books. So if someone wants to go to that direction, do they start the first one with that in mind? I'm curious how yours evolved.
I actually started my first book, just from my own personal writing. I didn't get into the second edition of the Hairstylist Riches, and that's when I brought other people from all different walks of life in, because I wanted to hear what other people were saying in the industry and how they are making everything happen for them, being most passionate in the industry. That's where it all evolved. Where it's just, you're going to constantly have additional ideas that pop up in your head, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can share more about that. And then you'll start getting people that will be asking you questions from when they're reading your book. And then you're going to go back and say, well, ooh, I can add that into another book. So it's like you're solving problems for people. You are a solution provider.
I love that. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about, where people really get in their own way. They're thinking of, well, I really have to be a quote unquote writer. Everything has to be perfect. But, what people want, what you just said, is information. They want their problems solved. So if you just keep that in mind, I think that is honestly one of the biggest things. And Charlotte, wow, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm looking that we're just about out of time, but before we go, I know you have a bonus gift. So can you share a little bit about what that is? And for people that are watching or listening, you can find it right below the video or the show notes.
Absolutely. So for everyone that's a part of this amazing movement, I'm actually going to share how to go from aspiring writer to best-selling author. Even if you are brand new, you'll have a workbook, and I'm also going to give you guys a group 60-minute session bonus so that you can ask me all of your burning questions. so that you won't get stuck.
I love it. I love it. And I've been saying throughout the summit, everyone needs a mentor. You got to invest in your idea. You don't have to do it alone. That's the key. You can get the support. Charlotte, thank you so much for being my expert here today.
Thank you.
And I just want to close this session out with, hopefully you've taken notes. That is the key. You want to make sure, if you've been wanting to write a book, think about the different topics that Charlotte was talking about and mark it on your calendar between now and the next 30 days and just do it. And of course, download her bonus. So I hope you found this inspiring. And until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. Now, my question for you is, what are you going to do in the next 90 days? I want you to take action that is aligned with your ambitious goal. When I work with clients, I actually show them how to change the neuroplasticity of their brain. And part of the process is really understanding, what goal, what action that I want to take is actually in alignment with my vision and mission and purpose. So you want to make sure that you have that. My other ask is to consider doing the Fearless and Fabulous Female Bundle. That is an upgrade, and it's $97. It runs throughout the summit. The reason why that's important is, number one, it's going to accelerate the rate in which you start attracting your success with some of the strategies that these experts are offering you. Number two, it's actually going to support a cause called She Should Run. As I mentioned earlier, it's about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. As women, we are so powerful. And I believe we're really living in an interesting time that we can change the world with our work. So again, I hope you consider the Fearless and Fabulous Bundle, and I want you to take action, okay? I'm going to be checking up on you.